Speaking of voting, have you registered? More than 987,000, I think, their names on Idaho's voting rolls. At least that's the latest count available from the Secretary of State's office. Tally might not surprise you. More than 570,000 of them are Republicans. 270,000, I should say, unaffiliated. 125,000 Democrats. If you're doing the math, there's a small percentage scattered, smaller parties and groups kind of out and about there. Constitution, Libertarian, you name it. You pick your affiliation when you do register, unless you're the unaffiliated type. Volunteers signing up voters, are common at public events and festivals, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of people soliciting with clipboards, either for a candidate, another group. There's one organization that is now setting those clipboards down. Youth Voting Advocacy Group, Babe Vote, says a new law is giving them all sorts of barriers. Here's Andrew Bartline.
Hitting up the voting booth? It's your way to get a say.
Right.
And Sam Sandmeyer says,
exactly.
It's time for young people to get in line, if they can.
Most of the Babe Vote volunteers are very young. Some are even too young to vote themselves, but they all care about their future and they know how important having a voice in their future is.
Babe Vote is run by young people for young people with Sam's help. They gather the clipboards and help new voters register. At least,
so
they did.
It became a waste of Babe Vote volunteers' time to go out and have people fill out these cards and think they're registered.
Babe Vote blames new barriers on House Bill 340. The new law requires new voters to provide a proof of residency before they're officially registered to vote.
And when we would explain to them, now you have to provide proof of residency to your county clerk, people were just not ready to take that additional step.
Even though that additional step isn't new at all, Idaho voters have always been required to supply proof of residency before they registered. That includes an Idaho driver's license, bills, or a pay stub. But the Secretary of State's office says the voter cards on clipboards could be a loophole. People could register to vote on those cards without proving their address.
You used to be able to just fill out the number of your driver's license or the last four digits of your Social Security. And now you have to actually provide that proof.
It's proof that Babe Vote volunteers cannot verify on their own,
making it more difficult and for us really impossible to help people complete their voter registration is just not democratic.
Did you feel that there was a problem with the system before where people were registering to vote in Idaho who otherwise shouldn't be?
If you're talking about voter fraud, it is extremely rare. I believe that these two laws were a solution in search of a problem.
The second law removed student IDs from the list of acceptable identification at the voting booth. In tandem, Babe Vote tweeted they will immediately stop actively registering people to vote. And they say it's now time to file a lawsuit and ask a judge to put a pause on the new registration law.
I just think it's sad that groups that are focused and their mission is registering voters just missed huge opportunities over the 4th of July to register a lot of voters.
The Secretary of State's office says groups, including Babe Vote, can still fill out registration cards. However, that registration is not complete until you provide a proof of residency. And that can happen at the polls on Election Day. When you go to vote, you would bring your driver's license, a pay stub, a bank statement, whatever document that's approved that you have to prove your residency. So this is the part, Brian, where you ask me, Andrew, why'd you do this story today? Go ahead and ask me.
Okay, why'd you do this story today?
So that's my driver's license. The address is my old address. I just moved at a 4th of July parade.
Okay.
I filled out a card so I could have my new address down when I go to vote.
Right.
Well, I would have shown up. They would have asked for my driver's license. The addresses wouldn't have matched. I wouldn't have been able to vote that day unless I came back later with a form
with
of
another
ID.
form to prove that's where you live.
Exactly, which could have been a bank statement, whatever.
But that's kind of the way it is now anyway. If you show up, whether you filled out one of those cards or not, you still have to prove those things. Yeah. You are the person you are, and you live where you live.
Yeah, but if you already did it beforehand, you just need to show your ID. I need to prove my residency when I go to a different poll next time.
Okay, so this just kind of makes it, well, the same all around.
Secretary of State's office said they filled a loophole.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.